Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here, and I'm going to be doing a quick review of the Westin Freddy frogs. Let's check them out. Whoa, there we go. Yeah! Woo! Holy cow, folks. Topwater Johnny here, man. This is what we came here for. Look at that. Get back here. Look at that right there. That's the kind of beast that we came here for. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny. Look at that beast right there, baby. I think I won the tournament with that one right there. I am the one with this one. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here. Just want to welcome you to this lure review here in this video. And I wanted to talk about a very unique lure that's been out for some time, has great popularity, and it is the Westin's Freddy the Frog. And this lure actually was a winner of one of the best topwater hard baits in ICAST in 2018. So this is a really cool lure, and I want to show you here, give you another look at it. I'm going to do a deeper review in a moment, but I just want to show you this thing here. Look at this beast right here. This is a huge topwater wake bait type of lure. But what Westin has done here is, with great detail, really representing what a frog should look like in its design and its creation. And what they've done really is created a wake bait that has a lot of motion, has a lot of movement. And so what I want to do now is do a closer look at it, and then I'll come back and give you my thoughts about it. Okay. Okay, so here they are, the Westin Freddy the Frogs in different sizes here. As you can see, we've got the first one, the big one down here, is actually 7.5 inches long, and its weight is 1.62 ounces. The smaller one is about 5 inches long, and its weight is 0.63 ounces. And what makes these so unique as topwater, or really not topwater, but wake bait lures, that makes them so unique, is this jointed pieces right here. All of this is jointed, but yet it is all wired together at the same time. So that gives it a real distinct action and a real movement when it's on the water. So I'm really excited about that. Also, as you can see, if you look a little bit closer here, we can see they've got the hook on top here. They've got a hook on the bottom, but the hook on the bottom here, this big treble, can actually be removed, and then you'll have truly a weedless presentation of it. So then all of a sudden, this right here becomes just a topwater lure, and it's a wake bait. So I'm really excited about this one here. The smaller one is the newest one that's come out, and this one right here really does give that person who's kind of intimidated by the bigger one an opportunity to throw a smaller version of it. It also has, as you can see, it has the hook right here in the back as well, and it also has the actual lure in the back here as well. One of the things I want everyone to notice here is how segmented this thing is. This thing is really jointed all the way through, from the feet to the body and up. Even in the bigger version here, as you can see, it's all jointed in these pieces and parts, which gives this a really good waking motion here. Also, as you can see from the bill in the front, this is a huge front piece on here, but this really does give it a lot of action when it's waking and moving in the water. The smaller version here has the same thing going on here as well. The black version, even though it's black, it still has that bill in the front, so it gives it a distinct motion and action here. This, like I said before, these are really just unique topwater lures, even though they would be classified as wake bait lures. So what we're going to do now is kind of talk about it a little bit more, and I'll have a little bit more of a conversation with you about them and their effectiveness on the water. But I just want to do a quick, closer look. Okay, everybody, we're back now, and you had a chance to have a closer look at the Westin Freddy the Frog in the two versions. There is, of course, the bigger version here that we have, And then also, this is their newest one, which is their smaller version, which is definitely is a smaller version of the bigger frog, but it still has all of the same attributes as the bigger frog. It has this stinger hook in the back. It has the trailer hook below right here, the weight and the bill in the front, and really gives it a lot of wake bait action. Like I said before, just to give you some notes on it here, this was the ICAST 2018 hard bait of the year. Now, one of the things about this type of lure is that Westin's kind of known for these type of lures, but what I've noticed is that a lot of their videos and footage shows people catching pike and muskies, big fish with these type of lures. But Westin's product is definitely perfect for those that are bass fishing as well. This lure has a lot of possibilities in the bass fishing community, and that's why it's such a successful lure in itself. Like, for one thing here, just looking at the bigger version here, it's all jointed, which gives it such a great waving and movement and action here. You can take this big hook off here, this big old hook off here, and then all of a sudden, all you have is a wake bait lure with one stinger hook, which basically would make this a weedless presentation. So I've fished with this before. I've thrown it over weeds. I've thrown it over kind of weed beds that are just above, like just touching the top of the water. So I'm able to run it across, and that's allowed it to do its job and really do a great presentation. So one of the things that I would encourage everybody to do is take a close look at the Westin's Freddy the Frog in the smaller version. Now, the price of these things definitely fluctuates. According to Tackle Warehouse, as of this recording, the bigger version is running about $29, and the smaller version is about $19. But what I want you to think about here is, when you're thinking about, should I buy this lure or not, ask yourself this kind of question: can I get multiple applications from the use of this lure? And the answer is yes. With this particular lure, I can take this off at the bottom, and now I have a weedless presentation across the top. I can leave this on, I can run this across the water, and now I have a wake bait that's right below the surface, so that should there be that from below that short strike, or should they just strike at the middle of it, I've got a stinger, not a stinger, but I've got a treble hook ready to go. So in each and every one of these cases, there's a duality of using this lure. Now, I personally own both of these lures here, and each one has its own place and its own purpose. What I did was I did some footage on it that I'm going to share with you now, where I'm fishing with the bigger lure doing a demo, and I'm fishing with the smaller lure, and I did a demo of that as well. So what we're going to do now is take this out to the water so that you can see this lure, the Westin Freddy the Frogs, in action. So enjoy that. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here, and we are out at the lake here, and what we're going to do is run some tests on these Westin Freddy the Frogs. I've got the big frog, the really big mega frog, and I got the smaller frog. So what we're going to do here is run some tests on them so that you can actually see them in action and see what they do. So let's go ahead and check it out. All right, let's go ahead and get it out here, and let's see what it does here. I got it on my bigger rod, so this is the big frog, and as we mentioned before, it's a wake bait, so it's going to kind of drive from below. So as you can look at it here, you can see it coming in, and it's got those legs. It's really got a good motion, as you can see, because there's a chop on the water. So as you can see there, it's got a good big body motion there. So this one right here is definitely, if you are trying to catch some bigger bass, you are going to get something on this one. So I lobbed it out there pretty good, and I just start bringing that back in slow. As you look straight ahead, you should be able to see it kind of waking out there a little bit, and I'm bringing it in here, and those legs are really going, so it's got a really nice wake to it. and a really nice movement to it as we bring it in. As you can see, those legs move left to right. It always seems to turn over well. And as you can see there, it's got a good movement to it there. One more time. And this is the big one. So this is the big one right here. So that's the kind of movement it has while you're watching it, if you are waking it along here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we did the big one. Now we're going to go ahead and run the smaller one, the smaller wake out here. Try to run it real quick here and see how it moves. Same thing. It's a wake bait. So it's kind of got the same movement as well here. Except it dives a little bit deeper because it's smaller. So you're going to end up running this one a little bit slower. But as you can see, it still has that same wake movement right there. So Westin's done a good job, even with their smaller version. Still got us having that same movement, that same drive. And like I said before, this is a wake bait. So because it's a wake bait, it's going to not necessarily stay all the way on top the whole time. It'll go under a little bit. But if you keep your rod tip up and you just start bringing it in slowly at a moderate speed, you can start to see the water waking around it. And this definitely, the smaller version is less intimidating than the bigger version. Because the bigger version can be definitely a little bit intimidating when you're fishing with it. So as I'm bringing it in here, as you can see, it stays under pretty good. And this is in the black version, so, but as you can see, has that same movement and that same great action that we talked about before. So it is definitely an impressive lure, and it's just all about placement. It's about putting it in the right place so that these bass see it and will key on it, because it definitely has the kind of movement that should definitely get bit. Throw this out here again. It casts really far. So, and I've got it on braid, and it definitely casts really well. And I'm just doing a very moderate retrieval at this time, bringing the black one in, very moderate retrieval. And I could actually, you know, I could pop it if I wanted to, but it doesn't pop a lot because it is a wake bait, so it stays semi-submerged. But that kind of action, and I could really real fast, can create some bubbles. That action is really good. So the black one here is definitely really impressive here. So if you're thinking about the Westin, really take a good look at this Westin here, because this Westin has a lot of potential to it. As I talked about earlier, you got your hook on top, but you've also got a treble hook below. So, and the treble could be taken off, and then literally this thing becomes weedless out here in the water. So there's a lot of great potential with this particular lure right here. I'm going to take the lure again here, the bigger one, and position that one to throw out there again. And that one comes in the same way as always. It's waking back in again, waking. And like I said, even with the waves, because it's so big, it just controls itself coming in. And like I said before, as you can see, the bigger one definitely moves some water. And if there's something big out there, it's going to get noticed the way that it does move. So I just wanted to show you that one again. Show it to you here. Definitely a big frog, but you've got to have bigger gear to throw this one right here for sure. So, you know, I've got 30, 40 pound braid on here. This is a heavy rod with with my Corrado, but this is my Corrado 200, so it's a much more heavier, stout rod, because you're throwing such a big bait, and it will put a lot of stress on your gear if you are not prepared. So there you go, everybody. Hey everybody, it's Topwater Johnny here out by the lake. Hope you enjoyed that review. I wanted to do as a review. I wanted to throw it a little bit, throw it out there, let people see it in action, see how it moves. so that you can get a visual on it. Today's a little bit of a cloudy day, as you can see in the sky, a little bit of clouds out there, but the water's kind of got quite a bit of chop. But this kind of lure can navigate that well because that's a wake bait. And if you can see, when it's moving out there, it is moving water and it will get noticed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my office and kind of wrap this up. But I just wanted to thank you for watching this, and we'll just take it back to the office. All right. Okay, everybody, welcome back here. I hope you enjoyed that little piece there of me having it out in the water, and that gave you a chance to see that frog in action. That frog has a lot of action to it. It's jointed. It's got multiple segments here, which is allowing it to have so much action. And notice that it's even got rattles inside of it. In the smaller one, there's rattles inside of the smaller one as well. So this lure makes a lot of noise when you're running it across the tops of lily pads or hydrilla. It can be really effective at drawing up those bass and bringing them closer into you. So this right here to me is just one of those lures that really should be part of your toolkit. I mean, this is a unique lure first and foremost because look at the design of it. Just look at the design and look at the detail. This is the bullfrog. Such design, such detail, right down to the belly of it. A lot of design, a lot of detail. But if I were thinking about getting one of these, I bought the big one because that's the only one they had available. But now I have the smaller one, and I think that the smaller one is a great lure to really fish with and get two types of purposes out of it. As I said before, you can keep the treble on or you can take the treble off. Taking the treble off, it becomes a weedless presentation. So I really like the Westin. I would encourage those that are interested to please check it out. I'm going to put a link in my bio box so that if you're interested in getting one, and there's a host of places you can get it from. You can get it from Westin themselves, Tackle Warehouse. There's a lot of places where you can buy this particular lure. But here's the thing. As a fisherman, just like you, I had a curiosity about these lures. So in my videos, as you can see, I want everyone to see the lure. So what I've tried to do here in this video is show you what this lure looks like, what it moves like in the water, and then just have a conversation about it. So if you were thinking about getting this lure and you've got some questions for me about it, and you want me to give you my thoughts, please leave a comment below and I'll share with you my thoughts about it. As I've said before in many of my other reviews, the next time you see this lure, I'll be catching fish on it. I'll be catching bass on it. That's the next time you will see me demoing this lure. But I think it's important as a fisherman for everybody to see these unusual lures, these unique lures, and see what they're about. Like we hear about them and we watch other YouTube videos and they always are flashing them across the screen really slow, really fast. And it's hard to see them and it's really hard to understand how to use them. For me, this lure right here, the big one, 30, 40 pound braid, got it on my Corrado 200. That's a big rod, a heavy rod that can handle the weight and the torque that's required to throw this. This right here, got it on a spinning rod. Still using braid to actually throw it, but I got it on a simple spinning rod because it's light. Each one of these throws like a bullet. So you won't have a problem lobbing it out there. The key will be the presentation, reeling it slow, so allowing it to do the work. You don't really have to pop it. You don't have to jerk it. It's got all the motion and action built into it because, once again, it's segmented all the way through. So it already has that movement in each of these. They already have all the movement in it. So really, this is one of those lures that once you get it, it's really about presenting it in the right situations. It might not be the best for every situation that you think about a frog, but there are going to be times where this would be a great presentation to deliver to a bass. So I'm going to keep this at the top of my tackle box because I'm going to be fishing with it and I intend to catch fish on it and show you. So once again, I just want to thank everybody for watching this tackle review. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, please remember that phrase: Keep your line tight, because when they hit those topwater lures, especially this Freddy the Frog, especially Freddy the Frog or Freddy the Frog here in the smaller version, it's going to be a big bite. All right.